Hello and welcome to my video on the most important element of a contract called consideration. Consideration is the reason why everyone goes into a contract for. They want to get something from one party and they will give something in return to that party. In a legal sense, consideration is a mutual exchange of benefits and detriments. It is essential to forming every contract. It also must be bargained for and a full and fair opportunity to negotiate. These are the three requirements in order for consideration to be valid or legal. The thing being bargained for must have legal value, which I'll get into on the next slide. It must be bargained for, and it must be legally sufficient. Things that have legal value would be money, change in legal relationship, forbearance, promise, and act. A change in legal relationship would be, for example, when someone goes from being a stranger to becoming your guardian, or someone goes from stranger to attorney, that would have legal value. Forbearance is when you forego your legal right to do something. A common one would be you waive your right not to sue. So that is called a covenant not to sue or a release. Next, the contract must be bargained for, and the law does not protect you from making a bad deal. If it's a bad deal, there's still adequate consideration, the contract is still enforceable. There must be legal sufficiency, which means there must be a simultaneous exchange of benefits and detriments, and this can be best understood through an example. So here, me contracting to buy shoes from Walmart. So here we have a full benefits and detriments in full swing here. Walmart, their benefit is they get my money, they're gaining money. Their detriment is they lose their right to keep those shoes. My benefit is I gain the shoes, but my detriment is that I lose money. So this is a contract with valid consideration. But there are some contracts that appear to look like this, in which there's an exchange of benefits and detriments, but when broken down, there's actually a lack of consideration. So a common one is a pre-existing duty. Here's an example of a police officer. He's offering protection to a community for a fee, and it may seem like there's an exchange of benefits and detriments. You know, the community's giving the guy money, he's giving protection. What's wrong here? Well, the police officer already has a pre-existing duty to give protection to the community, so there's technically no detriment on his part because it's his job to protect anyway. So without a detriment, there's no legal sufficiency, and therefore this contract is unenforceable. Next, there's something called past consideration, in which if I were to shovel my neighbor's driveway for free just because I was feeling generous that day, and then a day later my neighbor tells me, "Hey, that was really nice of you. I'd like to give you $30." There's no obligation for my neighbor to pay me, because my neighbor is paying me after I'd already suffered the detriment. So my past consideration would be invalid to support a contract, and therefore this is unenforceable. There's no bargained for exchange. Next would be an illusory promise, and these promises often contain the word if in them. An example would be, using the last example, would be, I will shovel your driveway if I feel like it for $30. The if I feel like it part is very misleading because the person paying you may or may not come home to a shovel driveway, and illusory promises make the contract unenforceable due to a lack of mutuality. Next, there is an accord and satisfaction in which there is a change in consideration but the contract is still enforceable. An example would be if I were to default on a loan of $750 to the creditor, and I can't pay back the creditor, they can forego their right to collect the full $750 in exchange for $500 now. This would be considered the accord, and as soon as I pay it, it would be satisfied. Okay. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned something, and if you didn't learn anything new, then I hope this was a good refresher for you. And thank you for watching and staying for the whole video. Have a nice day.